Now, on to the main event in tonight's programme. Last year, Jonny Greenwood, guitarist with Radiohead, was appointed the BBC Concert Orchestra's composer-in-residence. 12 months later, he'd completed his first commission, Popcorn Super Het Receiver, which was premiered at the LSO St Luke's Hall in London in April. Mixing it nipped along to make a recording, and after the performance I sat down with Jonny Greenwood and the Concert Orchestra's conductor Robert Ziegler for a bit of post-match analysis. I asked Jonny Greenwood first how he came by that title, Popcorn Super Het Receiver.
Well, I started off wanting to write something about sort of radios, I suppose, and I just collected a long list of words to do with radios, like interference and reception and things like that. And that came up as an example of a kind of radio, and I just thought it fitted very nicely.
And what was it about the idea of radio that made you think in terms of a string orchestra?
I just wanted to play with white noise and the idea of background noise and things being obscured and you know, slowly revealed and things.
Robert Ziegler, is that a technically difficult piece to play and conduct?
It takes just a while to get the measure of it, and it asks the orchestra to do quite a few things, you know, unconventional things, and get to grips with actually making this kind of white noise sound, which is achieved by increasing the pressure of the bow on the string. So rather than making it vibrate, you get actually the friction of the hair on the string. Things like that, I mean, but it's not the little bits that make the piece work. It's how they're put together. I mean, that I think made it work tonight.
Well, it certainly was fascinating. Have you ever conducted an orchestra where you've got a large number of the string players actually playing their violins and violas as if they were ukuleles?
No, that one was first. That one was the first. The plectrums was the first for me.
That plectrum interlude, Jonny, how did the idea of that come to you?
Well, because I can't really very easily play it in tune on the viola I have, I would tend to sort of sit in a room in my house looking at the thing and wondering what sounds I could make with it. So, and there were plectrums lying around, so it was about hitting the instrument and with different things. And a lot of the piece, as the players know to their cost, they're playing the same note for a very long time. And that's because when I was making recordings, I can really only, you know, find one note and stick to it. You know, use a tuner to make sure I'm in tune. And so I was recording layers upon layers of myself playing, but if I had to change a note, then I'd go out of tune, so I couldn't. So that's kind of the restriction they were all under. What
was it like? Obviously, you're best known for your work with Radiohead, and that's 5 guys in a room. What's it like actually working with a conductor and an orchestra by comparison?
Well, with this orchestra, it's been great because they have all been very keen to talk to me and come up with suggestions and ideas, explanations for why things don't work. I mean, I remember a few years ago being told that whenever you work with an orchestra, you had to do everything through the conductor, and you shouldn't really approach the orchestra, and you should, you know, even be polite to the surly conductor, allegedly. And it's just been the opposite of that, really. It's been them just being very easygoing and in every way. So yeah, it's great.
So has this piece been, in a sense, a collaboration for you? I mean, this is Jonny's first work for a full-scale string orchestra. So I guess there's been a certain amount of trial and error involved.
Yeah, we were fortunate, the BBC was fortunate to prepare this piece with 2 workshops. So we were able to try stuff out and see what worked and what didn't work, what sort of proportions the piece was going to take, which is actually the most important thing, because things will work, but they won't sort of demand as much space as other things. So I think those really helped in not just developing individual sounds, but developing the real structure of the piece. It was very, very helpful.
Jonny, this is the first of your commissions as composer-in-residence for the concert orchestra. Did it sound like you thought it was going to sound when you sat in the audience and heard it played in front of a crowd of people here for the first time?
I was very excited when they started talking for that sort of tension that was in the room. It's quite upsetting just to be, you know, sat in front of a bunch of people who are kind of talking and shouting.
And what were they saying?
No, it's just there's like junk emails and bits of news papers and you know, financial reports and just lots of junk, really. So basically, and I found this
interference.
Yeah, and found this scary website sort of that was predicting who the next pope would be and how long he would be in, and it's very strange. All talking about, so yeah, just noise, really.